So welcome to Math Monday. I'm your host, Scott Kim. I'm a puzzle designer and math enthusiast. I like sharing what's going on, some of the cooler things in math. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. Okay, so the topic today is counting on your fingers. Now, perhaps sometime in your life you've been told not to count on your fingers. That's a thing for younger, maybe that's for babies. But I'm here to tell you that it's okay to count on your fingers. And I've got 3 reasons, I'm counting right now, for that. One, counting on your fingers is how we started counting. We count in base 10 because we have 10 fingers. Number 2, fingers are very convenient. They're always with you. If you count with rocks, you might drop them, you might need to go find some, but you always got your fingers with you. Number 3, it's fast, and you can count really high. What? I thought you could only count to 10. Well, I'm going to show you how to count way beyond 10 with your fingers. Maybe some of you already know how to do it. Count to 10, and what's interesting is not everybody learned to count to 10 in the same way. I'm going to count the way I learned. Terry, I think you have another way. So let's count to 10. 1, hold up your fingers. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, I started with this finger. Did anybody start with a different finger? Well, one thing, Terry, can you show how you counted this morning? This is my assistant, Terry. Why don't you introduce yourself and then show
Sure.
us.
Hi, so I'm Terry. I'm with the American Institute of Mathematics, and I'm going to be usually helping out with technical side of the talk today. So I started counting. I learned this when I was a teenager. I started counting with my thumb. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I always start from one side of my hand and then go all the way to the other.
Okay, so yes, different people. Now, if you want to count beyond 10, if you want to count to 20, how would you do that? If you've run out of fingers, what would you use?
Toes.
Yeah. You could use your toes. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not very good at lifting one toe at a time. but there are people in the world who count to 20, and there are some people who count in base 20. We still have that in English. We have a special name for 20 things. Anybody know what that word is?
Is that a score?
It's called a score. We've got some special names for different numbers that are important to us. Okay, so that's counting to. I want to show you a trick. I'm going to show you several things, but here's one of my favorite finger tricks for mathematics. I put some tape on my fingers. If you've got tape and a marker, you can do this too. But I'll just move on. If you want to do that, you can do it. You don't need tape right now, though. Okay, so here's a trick for multiplying by 9. So like 9 times, say, 7. Well, count from left to right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Put down the 7th finger, and what do you have left? You have 6. How many fingers over here?
63.
Yeah, 6 there, and you have 3 there. Anybody already know that trick? Yeah, a few of you? Okay, so that's 63. If you wanted to multiply 3 times 7, it'd be 1, 2, put down the 3rd finger, and see you have 2 fingers over on the left, and then 7 over here, 27. And it even works for, say, 9 times 1. You put down your 1st finger, well, you just have 9 fingers left. That's a fun one. Okay, now If you want to, you can count to 10 though with these fingers. I want you to count along with me. We're going to start in the American way. 1, 2, yeah, hold up your fingers. 3, 4. Terry, keep me spotlit. Now, that's like 4 pennies. Now, I'm going to pretend that my thumb is worth 5. So when I go from 4 to 5, I lift my thumb, and now I get rid of these fingers. So that's 5. Okay, now how would I make 6?
This is 6.
And you only need one hand. Yeah.
You do it with me?
If this is 5 and that's 1, then you put them together. 1 plus 5 is 6. So what's 7?
7.
Yeah. Okay, let's keep counting. 8, 9, and now how do you do 10? Well, you need your other hand for that one. So let's put this hand will be the tens place. So there's a 1 in the tens place. So I go back to 0 over here. Okay, now so it repeats. Let's count 11, 12, 13, 14, and now what do I do for 15? How did I make 5? Remember that? Okay, so that's 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Because that's a 5 and that's a 4, so that's 9 altogether. How do you go to 20? Yeah, that's right. It's 2 over here, and you can just have all your fingers down. Okay. Now we can count. Let's count to 25. At 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Now, let's just jump around. Can somebody show me 32? Yeah, that's right. You want 32. That's right. A 3 and a 2. How about 37? That's right. You just lift your thumb. That adds 5 to it. That's 37. And subtract 1. Go to 36. Now go to 46. Now, if I lifted my my thumb here, what would that number? What number would that be?
56.
90.
Well, that would be 56. But I still have my fingers up.
Would it be 96?
Yeah, that's 96. Okay, so this method, each hand is one of the place values, and this method is called Chisenbop. It's from Korea. I'm Korean by background, but I didn't learn it until recently. I was always curious about it. I'd heard there was some mysterious way to count using your fingers. You're essentially using your hand as an abacus. Here's an abacus called a soroban in Japan, and each row is one place value. The beads at the top are like your thumb, and the four beads at the bottom are like your fingers. You can count and add by moving these beads around. Except we're doing it now. Your hand is an abacus, and in fact, if you get together with somebody else, you can count up to 1,000 this way. So that's Chisenbop. Now I want to go on to counting higher. I just showed you how to count to 10 with this hand. The question is, how could you count higher than 10 with just one hand?
How can you even count to 10?
See, 10 you can count, I just showed you this way, where the thumb
That's 9.
is worth 5. That's 9. Oh, that's true. Can you even count to 10 this way? No. Yeah, I mean, you start at 0. You can count 0 to 9. How do you count to 10? Or further? Anybody have any ideas?
You
Because there's lots of ways.
maybe flip your hand, have a decision that if you're seeing the back of the hand, it means something different?
Yeah, you could. That could be you mean 10 higher. So that's 10 because that's 0 plus 10. That and 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and I don't know, maybe that's 20. Yes, or you could another way you could use halfway positions, some of your fingers. Well, there's another way, and now last Math Monday we had a guest, Spencer Bowen, and he showed you some games that really were based on base 2, which is how you would count if you only had one finger. So here's a question. Let's see, I've got to, I'll put down my hands like this. How many different ways are there to, the general question is, how many different ways are there to put some fingers down on the table? See, I can put 2 fingers down or 3 fingers down, or all my fingers. How many different ways are there to put fingers on the table? Well, one question is are there more than 10 ways? Can you count to 10 this way? Yeah, more than 10? See some nods. Okay, so I'll ask you some questions. How many ways are there to put one finger down on the ground, on the table? And that, I'm including my thumb as a finger. People are saying 5.
Yeah.
I'll put it in gallery mode for a moment. Okay, so yeah, let's put down one finger at a time, starting with the thumb. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 ways to do that. Now, here's a harder question. How many ways are there to put down 2 fingers at the same time? This question's tricky.
There we go. I'm happy to try. All right, so I did it with my thumb is going to go down,
Yeah,
and then I'm going to go in order. So my thumb's down with my first finger. That's one way. Then my thumb with my middle finger is 2. Thumb with ring is 3. Thumb with pinky is 4.
right.
And then I've done every combination with my thumb. So I've take my thumb up and I start with my index.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do index with my third is a 5th way,
Mhm.
6th way, 7th way. And then I've done every combination with my index or so, I think. And so then my middle finger with my ring would be, I think that's 8, 9, and then that would be 10, the last 2 fingers. That's how I came up with 10.
Awesome. I want to show you what that looks like if you play it on the piano. So yeah, what Winnie just did is she started with her thumb, and you do all the pairs with your thumb. That's 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you start with your second finger, and 2, 3. There's only 3 there. Then you start with your middle finger. There's 2 ways, and then just 1 with starting with your 5th. So as a piece of music, it sounds like this. That's right, 10 ways. So there's different ways to figure that out. You could earlier the person before started this way with combinations that were apart. You can also do it that way by counting, like start by doing all the adjacents. Anyway, I want to show you that you can also work out for yourself how many ways there are to press three fingers on the table, but there's a trick to that one. I don't know, maybe some of you have already figured out how many there are to press 3 on the table. The trick is the number of ways to press 3 on the table is the same as the number of ways to press 2, because when you press 3 down, 2 are up. So it's the same. 3 down is the same as 2 up. And we know there's 10 ways to put 2 fingers up. So there's 10. Now, this, I don't think we're going to have time to do the whole thing, but if you put, I encourage you to do this. So here's the challenge. If you've got tape, this works really great. I use some white duct tape and put it around my fingers. You can also use Band-Aids, I suppose, but that your parents probably wouldn't like that. And write the numbers 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16 on your fingers. You can also just put paper around you and use tape. And the question is, believe it or not, you can make a lot of, you can count to 10 this way. But so like here's 1. Well, let's see, and you make a number by adding the fingers that are up. Here's 3. What number is this that I'm making? You can unmute everybody.
Is it 7?
Yeah,
7.
that's 7. What number is that?
Is that 15?
That's 15. That's right. What number is this?
16.
And how about this?
17.
How about-
19.
Yeah, 19. I think this is I love you in sign language. So that's 17.
Correct.
These few figures.
That's 12. 12.
Yeah.
14.
Okay, I'm showing the numbers kind of out of order, but you can make any number from 1 to 31 this way. If I have all my fingers up, what number am I making?
31.
Yep, that would be 31.
Yeah, these two make 10. These two make 20, and this is a 1, so that's 31 altogether. And that's 0. So you can try this at home and try counting from 1 to 31. Find what fingers you have to have up and down. Every number you can make every number that way, and every number can be made in only one way. I won't explain it, but I'll just show you the pattern. If you count this way, 1, I'll show you. 1 is playing this note. So 2 is this note, and to make 3, we're going to play them together. Okay, so here's the counting from 1 to 31. That's 31, all 5 notes.
That took a little while.
Yeah. It's more fun to do it, I think, than to probably listen to it, but it requires a lot of concentration. I made a couple mistakes there. So that's my 30 minutes. Any questions?
Yeah, Scott, you've got your other hand taped. Do you want to talk about what you do with that?
Oh, yes, yes. So if I were to keep going, that's counting to 31 with one hand. If I kept going, I would type, what would I label these as? Well, these are powers of 2. 1, 2, 4, 8, 16. The numbers keep doubling. So this would be 32, 64, 128, 256, 512. And I could count with all these fingers up to 2 to the 10th power. That's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, 10 times. That's 1,024. So it's actually, I could count up to 1,023 this way. So yes, you can count up to 1,000 on your fingers. And if
Not to get,
if you've got some time on your hands, literally, you can try.
not to get that mixed up with 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 times, and that times 10.
Right, which would be, yeah.
10 times, yeah.
Well, that's it for today's Math Monday. Thank you all for coming. We'll be back next week, every week, Monday at noon. Okay, bye everyone.